Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to be talking about Grace dumping flooding rains on Jamaica as well as the Cayman Islands and then rapidly intensifying into a hurricane by tomorrow and then impacting the Yucatan by Wednesday night into Thursday and then re-emerging back out into the Gulf of Mexico. So if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. So let's get right to it. This is your afternoon update for August the 17th. And what we're looking at here is a satellite picture for today. Man, it's made a very big impact on the island of Jamaica with some very heavy rain. You can see Grace is just on the northern tip here. This is the center of Grace currently right now, but it's got a lot of cold cloud tops with it and a lot of heavy rain that follows behind this system as well as tropical storm force conditions. Winds extend as well as upwards to 80 miles away from the center. So you're probably only about halfway through for Jamaica from the impacts from Grace currently. So let's take a look at the satellite picture and the water vapor, which you can really kind of zoom in and see what's really happening. This is Jamaica right here in the green shaded area. That is those deep ocean, a lot of water content, atmosphere that it's tapping into right now. And that's why they're talking, 2-3 inch per hour rainfall rates at times. This yellow is your drier air behind the system. There is some drier air into the Yucatan, but it's smooth sailing ahead. This drier area is actually pushing away from the Yucatan. So after it clears the island of Jamaica tomorrow, it is expected to rapidly intensify into a hurricane. They actually have hurricane watches already posted for the Cayman Islands, and then hurricane watches posted for the Yucatan as well. It's going to be a major impact event for coming up as it really ramps up, and especially as it gets into Cozumel, into Cancun in 2 days from now. So let's take a look at the latest guidance from the National Hurricane Center. This is the latest update as of 5 p.m. Eastern time. It's moving west at 15 miles an hour. It's currently a 50 mile per hour tropical storm. That's why they have tropical storm warnings out for Jamaica. They're getting impacted right now, but now newly developed hurricane watches for the Cayman Islands, and that is indicative of this storm coming away from the island tomorrow and then rapidly intensifying into a hurricane as early as late tomorrow night into the overnight hours on Tuesday night going into Wednesday morning, and then continuing to intensify as it comes ashore right along into Cozumel, Cancun, the Playa del Carmen area with some very heavy winds. Currently, they're at 85 miles an hour, the National Hurricane Center, which is up 25 miles an hour from the 8 a.m. advisory. So this thing is rapidly intensifying in a big way with a lot of the latest guidance, and it's expected to have a lot of it high impacts as it hits the Yucatan coming up on Wednesday night into Thursday, but then it's going to re-emerge back into the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, where it could actually really start to develop again, because this water is really prime time out here, and this could really rapidly intensify once again before it makes landfall in and around south of Brownsville into Mexico sometime on Saturday. So let's take a look at the latest update from the National Hurricane Center at 5 p.m. What we're looking at, we've got Tropical Storm Grace. It's moving west at 15 miles an hour. It's got maximum sustained winds at 50 miles an hour. And they already actually reported a sustained wind in Kingston at 47 miles an hour earlier, but the wind gust was actually 54. So that was the highest wind gust that I've actually found on the island of Jamaica. But man, their main impact has been the very heavy rain. And this heavy rain will continue to, like I mentioned, you're probably only halfway through, unfortunately, in Jamaica from this system, because they're really expecting overall from Jamaica to the Cayman Islands and portions of the Yucatan Peninsula anywhere from 3 to 6 inches. There's been numerous locations that have already received over 3 inches in Jamaica and upwards to 6 total for the event. And some locations, not out of the question, could get 10 inches, which obviously would cause a lot of flooding range, and storm surge is a concern as it gets close to the Cayman Islands of 1 to 3 feet, as this storm is still expected to rapidly intensify into a hurricane as we get into tomorrow night when it's close to the Cayman Islands. Here's the latest satellite picture, and you can really tell what's really happening. I mean, there's got a lot of cold cloud top still with it. I mean, Jamaica is just getting inundated right now with extremely heavy rainfall. That continues for the rest of the day into the evening. So it's not really going to be expected to clear the island until probably early tomorrow morning. By then, it'll be over the Cayman Islands, very dumping torrential rains for them, but it's smooth sailing ahead. And that's why the National Hurricane Center has really ramped this up into a hurricane as it gets into this atmosphere, because there's nothing to actually slow this thing down and then really start to make impact into the Yucatan, getting on a Wednesday night into Thursday. So let's kind of zero in to Jamaica. That's where it's currently at right now. This would be the latest radar at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon for today. You can definitely see, I mean, you can actually barely even see the island of Jamaica. It's just inundated with a lot of red, a lot of heavy rainfall. And still, even with the center somewhere around here, it's still a lot of heavy rain back behind this system, still has to move through. That is at 5 o'clock. And if we push it forward to 7 o'clock, you can definitely see the center still continues pushing off to the west-northwest, but there's still another round of heavy rain moving in on the backside. So they've got a lot more hours to deal with that very heavy rain in and around Jamaica for the rest of the evening. That's at 7 o'clock. And if we zoom it all the way through till 10 o'clock, it's still there, guys. I mean, it's still all the way, just pretty much covering the entire island is still. So you still got a good, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours left of heavy to moderate rain. And after midnight, things should start to lighten up a little bit, but still light rain until morning hours and into Jamaica. So as it moves off the coast of Jamaica, it's going to really expand and get into a hurricane by the time we get into late tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. And then, man, look at the rainfall. I mean, 4.5 inches per hour rainfall rates. That is excessive. Very intense rainfall over the Cayman Islands. This is very concerned. This is in a 1 hour, guys. 1 hour. This has the potential in the atmosphere to dump an extreme amount of rainfall. So obviously, flash flooding is a huge concern after it leaves Jamaica into the Cayman Islands as well. And then it doesn't get any better. It does not get any better because it will continue moving off into the west-northwest. Gonna be impacting, look, just south of Cozumel here, potentially, with it's just extremely heavy rain, 4-inch per hour rainfall rates. That's very difficult to do in a tropical environment. That's rare. That's rare to see such excessive rainfall rates over an area. So that is definitely a concern for flash flooding with this event. Then compounding with the very heavy rain, these are hurricane force winds are going to be entering the island upwards to 85 miles an hour, and it could even be higher than that, maybe approaching 100 miles an hour by the time it actually gets into the Yucatan. So as we continue moving across, again, these rainfall rates just continue to be very impressive. Now we're upwards almost to 5 inches per hour. I mean, that's just not, you don't see that out often to see that type of rainfall rates per hour, but right around the Tampico area, it's probably going to make landfall. So anywhere into Veracruz to Tampico, expect an excessive amount of rainfall, if it's up to double digits coming up by this weekend into all the next week, because this kind of lags around. But it looks like the U.S. is kind of safe away from this particular system as it looks to stay further south away from Texas. So let's look at the wind swath and what's going to be happening with this particular event. Here's the latest guidance, and it has upped from this morning. So it's raised about another 20 miles an hour. So every model run just gets a little bit more intense and more intense. So So yes, we have a deepening low pressure going to be rapidly developing into a hurricane in and around the Cayman Islands. So you'll get those hurricane force winds in tomorrow into the Cayman, and then it will continue moving across west northwest, going over over the Yucatan and around the Cozumel area with some very high winds, re-emerge back into the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, and then again rapidly intensifying as well, and then before making landfall sometime on Saturday. So let's zoom back out and let's take a look at the latest hurricane model guidance as well, because this one's fairly intense as well. This is the latest guidance, so it has it moving across. There's Jamaica, so this would actually have it down to a 981 millibar if it's up to about an 80-mile-per-hour hurricane in and around. There's the Cayman Islands by the time we get into the day on Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. So that's the latest guidance from the hurricane model, and if this continues moving across, it would actually deepen to a 976 millibar low pressure upwards to almost a 90 mile per hour. The official guidance from the Hurricane Center is 85. So this is just about right on track with their guidance as this would continue moving across. With this particular model, though, it actually has it moving just a tad bit further north than the ultimate NHC guidance. And if that continues, then that would actually play a role in the intensification as it comes back off the reemergence. So a more northerly track would actually make it more intense hurricane. So if the HWFRF model comes to fruition, then yes, it could explode into possibly a major hurricane by the time we get into the day on Saturday and make landfall right around the Tampico area as a 948 millibar low pressure system with 114 knots. That's equivalent to about 130 mile per hour hurricane. That's right around Cat 3 strength if it's not up to pushing on, Cat 4 low grade criteria. So that is a definitely concern after it re-emerges out in the open waters of the Yucatan, because this water out here is just extremely warm. It hasn't had any storm at all this year to cause any upwelling or anything like that. But so yes, here's the guidance. If the continued guidance comes to fruition, it would make landfall somewhere in and around the Tampico area. So definitely, if you live anywhere into Tampico, down to Tuxpan, into Veracruz, I'm expecting some very heavy, if not almost double-digit rainfall with hurricane force conditions coming in, impacting you guys on Saturday. And the rain will linger several days behind this system as it looks to kind of lag behind several days behind the system. Here's the latest rainfall estimate as this moves through. Yes, I'm expecting again another 3 to possibly upwards to 6 more inches into the island of Jamaica. This moves across into Cancun, dumping those 5 to 8 inch rainfall estimates, going across and dumping again those potentially 5 to 8 upwards to double digit 10 inches is not out of the question in portions of the Yucatan Peninsula. This continues moving across and reemerges back out in the Gulf and dumping some upwards to almost double digit rainfall estimates from Tampico to Veracruz by the time we get into this weekend. So it definitely looks like a high impact event for many. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do share this video with your friends on social media so they'll definitely be ahead and prepared for what's to come with Grace. Thanks for watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.